are now tuned into the sounds of bearded ambition.
Welcome back to another edition of Bearded Ambition. I briefly want to talk about nature. And I like to say that I love where we are. Evidently he does too. But I love where we are in society right now in regards to how far we've come as far as technology, the internet, video games, Bluetooth, communication, and how we utilize it to benefit how we live and how we transact and how we pay and buy things and create and all that. But there's nothing like Mother Nature, in its natural form of communication, of vibration, of energy, of just unplugging and being connected through a different source. I feel it's actually healthy for your mental health because we're exposed to so much information and so much trauma and news all at one time. At least for me, I found out that it's beneficial to unplug and just sit, which is somewhat hard in today's society for a lot of people, even adults. Just to actually sit still. And not always be grabbing our phone or always seeing what the score is on the game or what celebrity said this. I come from a place in time where, prior to the internet and, even though I grew up with video games and all that, we were present, a lot more present, playing with your friends and riding your bike. Even though we had video games were like a little bit for later on in the day or on the weekends sometimes, or when it rains, we couldn't go outside or whatever. But we weren't overly consumed by it. We'd go climb that tree, catch those grasshoppers, catch those lightning bugs, play kickball, tag, football, all that good stuff. But all that was being outside and being present. I feel like you learn so much more when you actually can sit still. Otherwise, you're just distracted. And a lot of times it gets you off course. Though I am using this as a means to communicate, which is, through social media, through these other applications that we use. The objective is that you have balance and not be overly consumed by it. Because it can deteriorate your perception of life, because you're just seeing so much. Some of it's real and some of it is fabricated and entertainment. And I have nothing against that. I'm a part of that as well, but just saying each individual has their own responsibility to balance out what's good for them in mental and physical health. The advertisements that we see, the things we get fed mentally, emotionally, spiritually, can be a bit much. But it's nothing like Mother Nature at her best. Those four elements we're comprised of: earth, water, air, and fire. We can't live without any one of those aspects, any one of those elements. So I'm out here by the water, on the earth, feeling the air, and getting the sunlight. They're all essential for your mental and physical health, for sure. And it's just a natural vibration. You want to hear God talk? Get quiet. It's a way of purging too, the things that we take on daily at work and people that we meet and the things that we got going on in our life. Just go sit somewhere. I always use all the re's: the reboot, reconnect, revise, replenish, refresh. renew, reconcile, reconcile, make friends again with yourself, with the divine. Everything that you connect to does not have to be something that you plug in into an actual outlet in a wall. This is the natural connection. It's free. It's at our disposal. It's a hawk up there. You can see the shadow. That's how you know it's a big bird. But everything is symbolic to life, the things that we see. I'm big into spirituality, so I know that when I'm around certain things that God gives you signs. But you have to be tapped in order to be able to see them. That's what consciousness is, awareness. Otherwise, we'll see signs all the time, but we won't be able to know how to read them, to comprehend them. But no matter where you are, you're supposed to be there, based upon what it is that you do, that you don't do, what you know or what you don't know. But in order to elevate, that's when you really got to hone in, tap in. So overall, to tap in, I'd say on a even higher level, close off, tap in, go inside by going outside. It's just something about it. It's uncomparable to just sitting in a house, in a cool, even though you could be in a cool, dark space, depending on where you are throughout the world, if you're in a colder region or a hotter region. I'd say if you can get outside, get outside. Mother Nature, Mother Earth will always give you the answers, will always give you the truth. God consciousness lives through everything, through the plants, through the trees, through the animals. They're on a natural vibration. They're always in sync with what's going on at the time. And I feel a lot of times we're out of balance. We're always on concrete and the foods that we eat and the things that we're exposed to and consumed by can be a bit much. So overall, get outside, get some nature, reconnect. Especially in times like these, even though it's a beautiful time to be alive, there's still a lot of uncertainty and war and fighting and stuff going on as well. And you have to protect your peace. Doesn't mean that you can't be concerned and be tuned in, but don't lose yourself in things that you can't control either. Make your participation and do the best you can and protect what's yours. That's going to be different for each individual, but for me, it's reminding myself to sit still and go back inside by going outside and not taking it for granted as well. We live in a world where all we do is build, right? New real estate, new commercial properties, and should be thankful that we have what we have. We can't make everything concrete. We need this for the balance. Mother Nature's always going to win either way it goes. If she says, hey, I don't want this concrete here, she'll shake things up and break it. So go outside, reconnect, tap in, meditate, pray, cry, release, purge, get the answers that you need, find something new, see something new, learn something new. Focus in on one thing without always scrolling and getting those endorphins released by, seeing thousands of portions of content within a certain amount of time. It can be unhealthy. Everything in moderation. I know we live in a new world, so I'm not going to take away from what's our norm, but the original social media is out here. This is where the animals are social, and we can connect with it as well. So with that being said, I hope that this adds value to you, and I trust that you are well and that you will go outside to get connected to what's on the inside. Take care.